Whether you love them or hate them, open-world games have easily been one of the most influential genres on the industry. If you want to sell a game as having a ton of content as well as a greater sense of freedom and choice, then making your title open world is a good way to go. Now, while this has produced some rather bland experiences, it's also made for some of the best, which is the focus of today's list. So today, let's open the vault and take a look at some of the vistas that we just couldn't help love visiting. Now, a fair few of these should be well known and well played, but the question is, have you played them all? If not, you better jump to it before something or someone kills you. Side note, your back door is unlocked. With this in mind, I'm Jules for WhatCulture.com, and these are 10 open world games that you must play before you die.
Hey, just quickly to pop in before the list actually starts, I just want to talk to you about That Film Theory. If you don't know what that is yet, it's a brand new channel that's going to be about video essays, cinematic experiences, a bit more relaxed approach. Hopefully we'll see you there. You can find the details down below.
Number 10, Minecraft. I've put this at the top of the list because A, I'm pretty sure that most people have actually played this, and B, because the randomized nature of the game means that it can be the best and potentially the worst each time you create a new blocky landscape to explore. It's so charming to delve into, and the initial simplicity that gives way to ever more complex contraptions is a brilliant gameplay loop that has players young and old making their eyes square from staring at this for so long. It's kind of the ultimate sandbox where your imagination is the only limiter, which is as good or as terribly overwhelming as it can possibly be. Number 9, Batman Arkham City. It's every person's dream to dress up in leather, sneak out at night and gangbang dudes in alleyways, isn't it? Oh, sorry, I was just reading a text from your mother that she's just sent. There's my one per list. But it also is every kid's dream to become the Bat. And Arkham City does a fantastic job of that, allowing you to not only glide across a brilliantly realised Gotham City, but also lay the boot into a plethora of thugs and rogues who reside within. Now, many would argue that Arkham Asylum is the better game, which is very true actually, but City is by far a more ambitious project which it pulls off thanks to its love for the source material, excellent voice work, and combat that is simply wince-inducing. Number 8, Far Cry 3. For a game that's actually 6 titles in, the fact that the third game in the series is still the best is saying something. And I can already hear the cries that 4 was great and 2 was revolutionary, but 3 is where the series hit its stride and had fun with it. You tell me that malaria is as much fun. Come on, let's be honest. The thing that sets apart Far Cry 3 and its open world is survival. It encouraged players to hunt and explore because if you didn't, the end game was that much harder. Plus, we have to remember what this game does so well are the same things that this series has been desperately trying to recapture since. A fantastic villain, a brilliantly exotic location, a drug sequence that felt fresh, and a story that was weird in all the right ways. Plus, I mean, who can really forget the Skrillex weed-burning section? That, if you'll excuse the pun, was absolutely dope. Number 7, Horizon Zero Dawn. The huge amount of variety in each area of Horizon is impressive to say the least, and even more so when it's all viewed from the top of a tall neck. Every area of Horizon feels like it's been meticulously crafted to make sure that the player is actually exploring it for a reason. Nothing felt artificial about it, which is kind of crazy when you consider the main enemies of the game. Speaking of which, the robots that have taken over are pretty much a big part of why Horizon is such a fun world to explore. Everywhere you go in this game's world, you're presented with a new form of life. It's like Jurassic Park meets Westworld with you cosplaying as the wrestler Ember Moon. And that is no bad thing. Number 6, Just Cause 3. Sometimes it's not actually about the world itself, but how you get around it that makes a game stick in your memory, and Just Cause 3 certainly makes its mark with the wingsuits, grappling hooks, as well as a huge assortment of cars, planes, bikes, and boats. Screaming across this beautiful landscape and watching it all explode beneath or behind you is exhilarating. Plus, it's a world that is so chock full of Easter eggs and monuments to explore that it's bound to keep you engaged. Just Cause 2 might have introduced all of this madness, but 3 came along and refined it. More explosions, more choices, and more random events to sink your teeth into. What fun. Number 5, Fallout New Vegas. Although Fallout 4 might have had a bigger open world, nothing really beats the density and variety of locations found within Fallout New Vegas. There's something interesting to find in every nook and cranny on this map, which is all complemented by an overall harder game, filled with choices and quests and f***ing cazadors. Many immediately wrote this off as Fallout 3.5, but this was so much more. The Mojave Wasteland was bright, colourful and fun in places, which gave a break from the often drab setting of 3. You can really feel and see the history of the world in this game, and it's really exciting to tick off each location you come across, sliding it into the wider narrative which has always been this franchise's strong point. Also, side note, just in case you're wondering, this is here in place of Skyrim. Don't put an arrow in my knee, I had to make space for only one Bethesda game for this list, okay? Number 4. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Considering Nintendo have never really done an open world game before Breath of the Wild, it's kind of amazing how well they pulled this off. And sure, you could count Wind Waker, but that was more of an open ocean than an open world, and yes, there is a difference. There's so much to explore here, and there are a myriad of different elements going on which make the locations feel unique and, more importantly, memorable. Add in the ability to climb and you've got an experience which feels so impressive because it opens up the world in ways never seen before. Combine this with a weather system that makes exploring the world dangerous no matter if there are enemies about, and you have one of the most genuinely interesting vistas to explore. It truly is a testament to game design. Number 3. Final Fantasy 15. I was so non-fuss about this game on the lead up to its release, having been burned quite badly with the 13 subgenre section of this franchise. Yet when I finally landed the Royal Edition of Final Fantasy 15, my views changed for the better. This game is brilliant. Yes, I know the intro goes on for a long time and the story does lose a bit of steam, but this is Final Fantasy at its best in places. The combat is fun, the locations are beautiful, and the characters, my god, the characters are some of the best, not just in this series, but in gaming in general. I really felt connected to the group and their endless summer-style exploration. This is as much of an eye-opener as it is a heart-opener. Enjoy this game, as it's been tweaked and refined so much now that it truly is a gem. Number 2. GTA Vice City. As a product of the 80s, I can't deny that I've got a soft spot for all the ridiculousness of that era. The obsession with the self, the sheer moral decay, the gaudy fashion, and the absolutely cheese-riddled music hits home fiercely for many. And GTA Vice City managed to capture that essence and put it to disc. The game is so well written, the atmosphere so on point, and the characters so delightfully seedy that it's a parody of the period done right. GTA 5 might have finally managed to figure out how to get the shooting mechanics down, as well as balancing the silliness with the seriousness, but Vice City is a glorious slice of nostalgia. Burning down the strip on a Vespa with 80s synth-riddled pop as the sun sets is as good today as it was back then. Plus, I mean, the name, Lance Vance. Brilliant. And number 1, The Witcher 3. So you want to know how to make an open world perfectly? Well, you got to fill it with interesting locations, beautiful landscapes, and actually give the players a reason to explore. In other words, The Witcher 3. Looking out into the distance and spotting a mountain and saying, God, I'd love to have a crack at that is one thing, but The Witcher 3 responds with, go on then chief, off you pop, might even be some sweet gear at the top of it for you. It's that type of game, a friend who encourages you to venture off in search of quests and constantly rewards you for doing so. All of this is even more impressive when you consider that this was actually the first open world game that the CD Projekt Red have ever worked on. If they can pull this off with Cyberpunk, who knows how revolutionary that game will be.
Hey guys, thanks for making it to the end of the video. Aren't you a star? Don't forget to subscribe below, and also the people who made this video, they're right here, so go and follow them and give them some love. If you want to see more content, there's probably some stuff flowing up above my head. Why not check it out? It could be fun. I'm not your dad.